Hey everyone! Today I'm going to be painting a leopard in acrylic paint. This is only my second painting in over 12 years, so it was still a little bit of a challenge, but I do end up really liking the way this one came out. I painted it for my wall in my living room. So I used several different paints, white, black, neon yellow, yellow, ochre, neon orange, sea green, and dark green. Oh, and red as well, just to blend with the orange a little bit. So I start by lining out the eyes and the nose with black, just to get an outline going for this. And then I will end up painting around those outlines. And I'm also going to line the mouth here, as well as the lips and the cheeks. And I'm also lining the tear ducts as well, just a little bit, only halfway down because I'm going to blend them with color. Then I go in with ochre and fill in a little bit of the color on the forehead. This is going to be a lot brighter than my reference. Then I go in with a little bit of that neon orange and blend it into the ochre on the edges. Now taking more neon orange and blending it out over the head. I'm going in a fur-like pattern while I do this, keeping that texture in the direction of the fur. And now I'm taking regular yellow and blending that into the ochre. Now I'm taking white and putting that in on the edges of the nose and eyes, blending it back into the yellow. Now with neon yellow, sea green, and dark green, I will start to blend in the shading for the eyes here. Neon yellow for the base, sea green for the middle, and then dark green for the edges. And now I've mixed up a combination of neon orange and the red paint I have, and I am filling in the very top edges of the head, since it blends into a gradient from the yellow to a darker orange. And then I'm just going down the edges of the body and then taking regular neon orange and fading that out, because it's going to end up fading into white fur at the very bottom. Taking a little bit of ochre and then regular yellow and doing the same thing that I said, blending it out to white. I'm putting a little yellow into the ears here, blending that in. And a little bit more neon orange on the forehead here to blend between those two colors. And I'm also putting some of that in the ears here. And taking the orange down the chest as well. I like to do it in layers like this because it blends a little better. And on the nose too, and then taking white and drawing some fur on the cheeks and the eyes. Just giving it a little bit more texture. And on the chest too. Now I'm taking a mix of red and orange again, blending it down the nose, in the ears and the back, and under the chin, and a little bit more detail with it on the forehead and on top of the ears. Just to add in that fur texture, little by little. I'm lining the edges of the ears with it as well. Taking a little more orange and blending it down. And now I'm taking a gray mix that I made from mostly white with a little black. Doing the shadow under the chin, and a little bit more white on the ears and on the cheeks for more fur texture. And now I'm taking black and lining the edges of the outline of this portrait. I'm going to blend it in another color for the background into this black. I just want it to be really dark around the edges. And when I'm done lining that out, I'm going to take that black and blend it outwards into the background. Again, I'm gonna paint over that with a different color, but I just want it to be nice and dark on the edges. Now I'm taking a large brush with that dark green color I have and brushing that on all the remaining background parts that haven't been covered in paint and blending it into that black outline that I have to make a slight gradient effect. And then using that same brush, I'm gonna stipple in more black for a textured effect to the background. And then I'm gonna take a detail liner with some black and go in and do some fine detailing on this painting. Just doing the edges of everything, giving a little bit more of a stylistic look to this, since that's kind of how it came out. Now I'm gonna go in with that liner brush and paint each and every spot on this thing, going off of my reference, but I'm not being too exact with it. Just having fun and making it look nice. Don't have to make sure anything's super symmetrical. I just have to make sure it looks close enough. As I'm doing the spots, I'm adding in little flecks of fur texture as well. Lining and shading under the chin and under the eyes as I go. Just making it all look uniform. And while I'm at it, lining in the teeth, since I'm using a small brush still, and fixing a little bit of the edges of the nose there. I like to jump around while I'm doing this, just like I do with digital painting, so I don't get bored. I had to do this painting over the course of a few days too, because I did get bored a lot. It was a pretty large painting, and I was standing and on my knees the whole time working on it, so it was a little tiring. So I definitely had to take breaks. I really wanted to paint a leopard or some other type of African animal, since my living room is decorated with zebra stripes and elephants and stuff like that. I figured it would match. If you're working on a large painting like this, I would definitely recommend putting on some music, or even a long movie or a TV show or a documentary, anything to help get your mind off of the big task ahead, because that will help keep your creative juices flowing. If you can keep your brain distracted from what you're doing a little bit, you'll just kind of paint without thinking about it as much, if that makes sense. At least that's how I seem to work. And I'm just taking that flat brush there and finishing up a little details here and there with that black. And peppering a little bit of fur texture on the nose there. And on the chest as well. And just lining a little bit in the ears. Now I'm taking a gray mixture that I made, adding details to the nose, eyes, and lips. Now I'm taking that neon orange again and just drawing a little bit more of an edge to the fur, just to make it mesh with the background a little bit better. It looked a little bit unfinished. Just going down the sides with that. Going over it in big globs so that it can cover that darker color underneath. Otherwise it won't show through and it would look kind of muddy. Go over it again if you have to, after it dries. And then lining in the ears there just for some finishing touches. And now I'm just taking white again and filling in those highlights on the nose and the eyes and the lips. And also using it to paint in the whiskers as the final part of this piece. Take your time with those whiskers. They are always the bane of my existence, as I always say. I always follow the reference as closely as I can for these, just to make sure they look good, make sure they flow right. And I'm just taking a little bit of black and adding in some final touches there. And that's about it, guys. This was really fun. I'm definitely going to do more. And I'll also do more digital paintings coming up soon. Probably going to take a break from acrylic. But thanks for watching. I hope you guys liked. Please like and subscribe if you want more. Bye.